Well, coming up in this episode, we're going to talk about the tragic death of Nolan Wells. Now, Nolan Wells was an inspiring youth that had a dream to make it into the NFL. He was a standout football player, and his life was tragically cut short on 4th of July in a boating, they say, a boating incident, or an accidental drowning, or it was foul play. Now, a lot of people have weighed in on this situation, and there's one particular guy by the name of Officer Tatum. He has a lot that he has to say about this whole case, talking about black people, a rush to judgment, saying it's foul play, and things of that nature. And we all know what Officer Tatum has the capability of doing. Officer Tatum does not even like his own kind. Officer Tatum is known to be a sellout. So basically, y'all remember when Charlie Kirk got shot, right? This guy advocated for Charlie Kirk and things like that, talking about this was racially motivated. And this guy gets behind a camera and he cries his eyes out over Charlie Kirk. And this is the same person that told people that he wouldn't cry over his own son, but you cried for the white man. And you're an African American. So as this case is unfolding, you know, Benjamin Crump has stepped on the scene, Al Sharpton, and he has a lot of things to say about Benjamin Crump and Al Sharpton. And we all know Nancy Grace. Nancy Grace has been quiet for a long time. And Nancy Grace broke back on the scene because she feels there's something suspicious. And Nancy Grace had the time to sit down and talk to Officer Tatum because Officer Tatum was talking about a lie detector test that all the boys took that was out there with Nolan Wells. And one particular person that he spoke to, Officer Tatum spoke to Warren, one of Nolan Wells' friends, and had a sit-down interview with him. And Warren felt that it was comfortable enough to go speak to Officer Tatum about this. Officer Tatum must have reached out to the family and got the go-ahead to get the interview because they feel comfortable. And the reason why they feel comfortable is because they know Officer Tatum's MO. He's on social media. He's an influencer. He was an ex-cop, but he was a football player that things didn't work out for him. And he became a cop. Now he's an ex-cop. Now he's an influencer on social media. And people know who he is. And Warren felt comfortable enough to sit down and give him details. And Officer Tatum, you know, he went out there on Horns Island, try to piece everything together and trying to advocate for these white men. And Nancy Grace basically caught him in a lie, had him backpedaling because Officer Tatum said that these guys took a lie detector test. Before we get off into what Nancy Grace had to say, y'all do me a favor, man. Y'all like, comment, and subscribe on the video. Now, it's kind of crazy that Nancy Grace, man, she's been prosecuting cases for a long time and never lost. And I want y'all guys to listen to what Officer Tatum said when Nancy Grace asked a question about this lie detector test. And then after that, we can get off into what D.L. Hugley said about Officer Tatum because Officer Tatum called D.L. Hugley out and D.L. Hugley completely destroyed him. But let's take a listen to what Nancy Grace had to say.
Taking polygraphs.
Well, from my understanding, all but I believe one took a polygraph, and from what was told to me that they all passed. And all of the ones that took a polygraph took one without a lawyer. And so, and they cooperated with law enforcement. So from my understanding, everybody took a polygraph test
from
but
what
one.
You understand? Did they tell you they took a poly and passed?
Yes, ma'am. They told me that they did it. I wasn't there. So that's what I'm saying from my understanding. They told me that all the boys except one, which is Warren, I believe, took a polygraph test. All of them did not have lawyers and did it and cooperated with police. Warren also cooperated police. I just believe he didn't take a lie detector test, but Warren is the young man that I interviewed. So according to what they told me, they all took a lie detector test and passed. And it's an equivalent of a lie detector test. It's not a traditional lie detector test, but it's the same theology of trying to get to if a person is lying. I don't know the name of it. It's an equivalent of a lie detector test. It's a different methodology. I don't believe it was a polygraph test. I believe they took.
Now you heard what Nancy Grace asked. It wasn't a polygraph test. It was something that was subsequently equivalent to a lie detector test, but it wasn't a polygraph test. So this is what I'm saying about Officer Tatum. Officer Tatum gets mixed up in his words because this guy is going to bat for these people knowing that it's foul play. And Nancy Grace knows there's some suspicion in what's going on. In order for Nancy Grace to come out of nowhere and start speaking, you know it's some foul play somewhere. And Officer Tatum has done this, and Officer Tatum will tell you that he does not like black folks. He only likes black folks of his kind that are conservative. So let's listen to what D.L. Hugley had to say about him, because D.L. Hugley completely destroyed him because of the simple fact that Officer Tatum called D.L. Hugley out. And this is how D.L. Hugley responded. Take a listen.
Y'all just see what unfunny ex-comedian D.L. Hugley just said about me. Posted a picture of me and my wife. To do what? To be a racist? You are the lamest dude in all of comedy.
What is more lame than calling yourself the job you used to have? You're not an officer anymore. You were a football player who failed at being a football player. You didn't make the team, so you became an officer. That wasn't working out, so you became an influencer. You talked about emotion. What is more emotional than this?
The word.
You cried over Charlie Kirk.
You cried for a white dude who the people didn't even think you worthy to speak at his funeral. You said you wouldn't cry for your son, but you cried for him. That's not emotion. You talked of the way Benjamin Crump talks.
Just want to blame white folks. And so I go out there because I know that lame Al Sharpton and Mr. I can't read Benjamin Crump is just race hustling, y'all.
You talked about how those boys are innocent. You had proof. Now, I don't know whether they're innocent or not. I don't know what happened there. But I know one conversation with a failed football player and a social media influencer is not the predicate. You don't have any toxicology report. You don't have an autopsy report. You talked about black people acting a fool. Black people are right to be suspicious of a state that took 31 years and 3 trials to prosecute and find guilty the murder of Medgar Evers. Black people are right to be suspicious of a state that in 2005 found 215 black people that were dead and buried in a pauper's grave and nobody knew they were there. Black people are right to be suspicious of a state that just killed a 1-year-old boy and nobody's being brought to account. Black people are right to be suspicious of a state that has been poisoning black people with the water since the 1960s. Black people didn't look for this fight. They want justice. All they want is accountability. And if it's those boys, it should be that. Nobody has a predetermined notion. I don't know what happened. But if you're saying that Al Sharpton and that Benjamin Crump are on one side, you're certainly on the other. You talk to them for 2 days and now all of a sudden you know if they're guilty. You know if they're innocent. You know that. Your name is, your moniker is Officer Tatum, not Detective Tatum. You didn't make your way to detective. You're an influencer who says what white people want you to say. And don't you find it interesting that they chose to speak to you? And they chose to speak to you for the same reason that you're a conservative, for the same reason Turning Point did, because you're safe. They know you're a black man who'll do what he's told. You're an unremarkable black man who they know they can count on to be obedient. They pick you for the same reason they picked Dog. What is very interesting to me is this is Nancy Grace.
I'm left to believe that he goes out swimming all on his own, and the friend girl leaves, the mates from school leave, everybody just leaves him out in the water and he dies.
Now, Nancy Grace is a career prosecutor. She has tried 100 felony trials, 100, and not lost one. And she thinks that's something suspicious. But the social media influencer who failed at football and was a mediocre cop all of a sudden knows more than that. I don't know what happened. You don't know what happened. But I do know this. You said that a young woman with a pot of water acted so suspiciously that she should be shot by cops.
I think that this is justified, but it could have been avoided, but still justified. You can't throw boiling water on a police officer and not get shot.
But you don't think people that want to vote with somebody in proximity to somebody, and that person comes that day acting so suspicious, they should be questioned? That's who you are. Debate you for what? What you are is what the people before you. You're Diamond and Silk. You're Candace Owens. You're Stacey Dash. You're that. And your career will age like avocado, because that's what they do. There'll be somebody else that replaces you. I've been around for 40 years doing what I do, and you still know my name. You know how I got to know yours? Somebody sent me a coon alert. They said, and you fit the bill. I don't know who you are, but I know what you are. I know what you do because I've seen people like you in my entire life. You can assail my career, but my career is longer than your life. You mentioned my name, and I have no idea who you are. But I do know this, that one day, when all of this is done, and it'll be after the next election cycle, when people are wondering who you are.
Man, look, D.L. Hugley, man, he straight destroyed Officer Tatum, man. I mean, he read him his own rights. And this is a tragic story all the way around, man. And like D.L. Hugley said, you know, the family's just looking for justice, man. And for this guy, Officer Tatum, to be going to bat and advocating for Nolan Wells' friends because they're all white Americans, this is sad. And when Nancy Grace gets involved and calls you out because you're coming up with this, talking about, you know, the polygraph test, this is what they told you. See, they're comfortable in telling you stuff like D.L. Hugley said. And this is just a tragic story all the way around. And for Officer Tatum to do his due diligence the way he's doing, to go out of his way, to go to Horns Island and sit down and speak with Warren, and Warren feels so comfortable opening up to him. And like D.L. Hugley said, you spoke to this guy for 2 days, and you're proclaiming his innocence. And then the way that you talked about Al Sharpton and Benjamin Crump, you know, just putting down your own kind and bigging up the white folks. That's why you've been trending all over social media when it comes to this Nolan Wells tragedy, because the stuff that you're spewing and the narratives that you're going with, people are calling you out, and it needs to stop because of the fact that you got to let this play out, because you trying to create things that are not even real. And if people listen to that whole interview that you had with Nancy Grace just really let you dig yourself a hole, and she put you in a corner and you couldn't get out. You was in the trick bag. Guys, do me a favor, man. Y'all get down in the comment section and let me know what y'all think. Get down in that comment section.
I see everyone in the comment section, hashtag salute. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe, and turn on your post notifications so you will know every time I drop a hot banger. Oh yeah, just in case I forgot, tell a friend to tell a friend. It might not be for you, but it might be for them. And that will wrap up another episode of the Simply Ball Dropping Podcast. I'm your host and the man behind the mic, K-Sap. Catch you on the next one. Deuces.